So about taplining, when you become more aware with yourself, with your surroundings, with everything about you, and let's say we turn on the radio and we'll listen to, let's say, a rap song, with no intent to, idolize it or anything, do we still get tapline when we become more aware because some of the music has subliminals in it? Do we still get taplined even though we become more aware every day and use more of awareness? Um, what do you think about that? Because that's one thing I kind of get scared about watching movies or listening to the wrong music, even for 1 second. I just don't want to get top lined at all because,
Well,
yeah.
again, here's the idea. You're young and you kids like to, and we all did. I used to do it too. Go to scary movies. You like to
Mm-hmm.
go with your friends, and just for the fun of it, you giggle about it. Girls get together, and it's like, oh, let's go to a scary movie and let's get scared. Okay. And so, yeah, that's a thrill for you. But sometimes people can't handle it. They see it. They take it as a reality, which it is. It's its own reality. But at the same time, some people can handle it, just like divers that go out and pet great white sharks. You see? Now, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm personally not going to do that, or skydiving or bungee jumping or these things. Some people do. That's their choice. But again, you decide, you test that out. And yes, things do happen, just like when you go out there and you go into the workaday world and you come home and, there's things on you. So you take a shower, you take it off. But eventually, through this process, you learn to handle it, don't you? And step by step, you're more so able to handle and become more aware of what else exists, because there's always something else in life that exists that you need to handle. So now you're going through the process. Instead of being the unaware effect, now you're the conscious effect, and you can handle it. Just like if you're in traffic and there's a traffic jam, you can figure ways around it, or you can tolerate being in it. You can handle the effect of it, you see?
Oh, I see. Thank you. That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
So I
everybody
guess
does.
that's just where I'm at right now. I can't really handle it until I
Well,
can handle it.
then give yourself a break from it and go do something else. Walk along the beach, go to the park, look
Mm,
at the sky. You know what? Go hug a
got it.
tree. Go hug a
Mm.
tree. Just
And
stand
yep.
and hug a tree. Yeah.
Is top line just a word for attachment? Is it just a different word for um, is there a different word for top line?
Well, it just gives an idea of the influences that are occurring that most people are not aware of.
Got it. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's all. And so when I saw that word and it made sense to me, I started using it. Then at a certain point, I wanted to take it a little further, and I looked on the internet. You look on the internet for these references, and I was very surprised, especially with how long David Icke and David Wilcox and many others have been out there with the reptilians, et cetera, because they're doing the major tap lines just like in the Matrix. It's just like that. It can be subtle to extreme, and people still go along with it, and they had never referred to it. And how I was referring to tap lining did not exist as far as I could find. And so I created taplining.info. I took out a domain name with GoDaddy for a while, etc. I don't use it anymore because it's kind of a given, but it just refers to those things that we're influenced by that we're not consciously seeing. So there's different ways, and you decide to accept it or not. So, it's just not the so-called bad things in the world. You're tap lined especially by your relationships. And this is the old word or term, bonding. You see? Oh, we're bonding now. And the thing is, it seems like a good thing, but also keep in mind that when you're being tap lined or bonded by others, that you're also the unconscious influence of what they're experiencing and deciding and thinking. See?
Mhm.
So you decide your adventure. Do you want to be like the sun shining, or do you want to stay the effect of everything as a one-dimensional human?
I want to be like you, Duane.
Well, you want to do better than me. I'm doing okay. The thing is that, again, it's your real awareness, and now you have the chance to decide that. So you decide how to clean house, you might say, and to where, it's like a person that's lived in a box and all of a sudden they have a new house and they want to keep it clean, etc. You decide to do that, and the same with your awareness, you see, and with what affects it, because you are awareness and you are always the decider. So there's a bigger, endless adventure that awaits, more so than all the phenomena that we're experiencing in this world. And yet at the same time, hey, it's going to be there. You're not going to just disappear from all this. It's going to be there. And but now you no longer have to deal with the effects of it. You no longer have to deal with the drama and all that. I had that when in my relationships, and you know what? At a certain point, it's like, you know what? I don't need this. I'd rather have an adventure that I can create and that I can share with others that makes sense, and find people that are willing to make sense of something besides just thrills and drama of this world. Because for the most part, people chase their thrills, and almost their thrills usually turn into drama. And they like this. It goes back and forth, this back and forth effect, good, bad, right, or wrong. People actually create situations because that's their thrill. And so this is where all this masochism and stuff comes in, because that's their thrill. The dark brats that rule the world, their thrill is to destroy others. That's their thrill. Yeah, that's their sensation. And watching others suffer and getting them to agree to it. Yeah, very real. And so we all take on this, and it's in the subliminals and everything else. So you decide to be consciously aware. And again, the sun and the real guides especially, and then eventually you recognize the real universe as well. There's a position that's everything without restriction. You decide that. But most people are very agreeable to their restrictions. So thus comes the taplining and the encumbrances and everything else that comes with it, because it's just so agreeable. It's so comfy, isn't it? Just having donuts and coffee every morning, the same way you've always done, etc., as an idea, as opposed to, making a better choice for your diet, and also the situations you're in, the ideas that you relate to, etc. That's a choice you make. So here's your opportunity. Now you have the knowledge. The knowledge is a reference for you to decide better, but the knowledge is not the reality. That's what I'm providing. It's a reference. So the old stuff and the old cliches and the old ideas and the beliefs and all that, they sound cute, but they've been made into a reality that doesn't work, and it's more than evident. You see what the world's doing. It's not working. What works is that when you can start to recognize your real awareness aside from all these restrictions, that becomes a true reality. You see, that's a whole lot better.
Thank you so much. And about the new you, do we have to sing it every night? Can we just have the focus and intent in our heart to be more aware? Do we have to always sing it? Can we stop at one point to sing it? Can we just use our real heart and intent and focus?
Yes.
To eventually stop singing it, or do we always have to sing it? Is that what the boys want? Or
no, it's not what they want. It's not. They don't want anything. In other words, they're guides. Okay, so in other words, you decide your life, just like what we're doing here. We provide the guidance, we're here, but it's not that we want you or anyone or anything to happen. It's just that it's something that, you'll decide that. And eventually, like the sun shining, yeah, you will surpass that. The new you basically makes the real connection to the real universes. And then at a certain point, it's just all awareness is what it is. And it's what life is. It's an aliveness. Again, this is a simulator you're in here. The bodies are like holograms. They're mechanics is what they are. And we need this. We need this to rely upon until we can position ourselves. That's UP, universal position, to where you don't need the bodies anymore. But I'm staying here because there's a lot to do, and I want the challenge, and I want to do a lot. I don't want to just go. I can go anytime, but I don't want to go. I want to stay. I want to do a lot because of what's going on in the world. And besides, who else is doing it? They're not. So I like the challenge. And besides, with the challenge is the love affair with this isness. So the new you is up to you. It's to your advantage or not. But yes, it's all about awareness and recognition. It helps you recognize. But the real you is everything there is. And to recognize that fully. But again, that's endless. There's no absolute with that. Like they try to make the God idea as an absolute. There are no absolutes in creation. That's a fallacy. And the real universes, well, they're endless. You wouldn't want an absolute because there's no end to it every moment.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you for showing up. Yes, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. It's all for you. Thank you. And have you talked to Kelsey much?
I've talked to her a few times. Yes, I added her on Skype a while ago. I've been talking to her a few times, and I've been talking to Eric a few times too. They've been really great and helped me out a lot.
Yeah. Can I ask how old you are?
Yes, I'm 27.
Well, you're very, very young. And so, again, the kids are here for you, Eric and Henry and Kelsey and et cetera. And so they're doing a lot of fun things. Get involved with what they're doing and have fun sharing this. And that's the best part. You get involved and et cetera. And all of a sudden you start to see more and you just have fun with this. And the best part is to sharing this and seeing those that are willing to light up and simply recognize there is more than just restriction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Thank you for
Thank
showing
you.
up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This whole Agenda 21, um, it's happening everywhere, all over. Do you ever think about what's going to happen to you when it comes to your area, your house, your city, whatever? Do you ever think about what you're going to do when it actually comes, or you don't even think about that at all?
Well, as we continue on here, actually, we're all in it. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something coming. You're already in it. It's just how you see it.
Oh. Oh.
The reality is
Yeah.
what degree are you in it? You see, let's say we're in it 50%, because again, they're just going to keep, like the 5G network and 6G, they're just going to keep upping it. So you're already in the agenda. It's been so since, we'll just say since the United States was created 200-300 years ago, whatever. We'll just start it from there. As soon as these proclamations, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights and everything were written supposedly for the people, well, no, that became imprisonment right there, because before that, the indigenous people, they didn't have anything like that at all. And so they still had to deal with the effects, the cause and effects of nature, but at the same time, no, you've been in it for lifetimes. You've been in the Agenda 21 idea for lifetimes, because the idea was created a long time ago. It's just taken a while to surface, you might say, but it only gets worse, doesn't it? Yes, you're already in it, miss.
Oh. That's the scariest part. So it's not about moving to the woods or, building a house in the woods or anything like that.
No, this whole planet has got satellites. It's all webbed. It doesn't matter where you're at. And they don't care where you go. You can think in your mind this or that, but you're still on the earth. You still have a body here, and you're still the effects of everything. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. Yeah, they can track anybody if they want to, but for the most part, they don't care. But if they do, for the fun of it, it's like a fox hunt. They'll come after you, and they like people who run, because that's the game. Just like the queen gets out her hounds and then let's go on a fox hunt. You see, it's a game. And so, just like you see in the movies where people are hunted, It's all a game, and they're more than willing to play the game. And see, when you're willing to step up and try to hide, wow, they like that because they like the challenge.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. See, again, these are mind games that people create. The reality is, you're here. Everything's okay. It should be. You should be motivated by the very fact of how bad it is. We'll say, and how poison and polluted are. To take the time to focus on your real awareness, because once you get to a certain point, you're going to see what others don't, and you're going to be able to handle it and surpass all of it. But in the meantime, if you try to run from it or fear it or agree to it, like most people do in the one-dimensional personal consciousness, then you're the effect and you're trapped by it. It's just that simple. You have to learn to get through it, and it's through your real awareness. Yeah, that's the real cure for everything. And until then, no pretty words or sermons or political speeches or any of these things, etc. Love and all these things, which are really just sensations from the personal side. And it's not that you're going to stop doing these things, but no, it ain't going to work. You still have to deal with it. And then if you don't take the time to recognize your real awareness, and you do have the new you and the real guides there, but they can't do it for you at a certain point. You really got to figure it out for yourself. And that's the best part, is doing it yourself, you see? And then it comes to you, taking the risk to see what others won't. I like that part. I've always been the risk taker. I just jump in, ask questions later. It's just like, do it, and let's see what happens. Yeah, that's the fun part. We did that as kids, remember? We jumped out of trees. Oh, let's see if we make it. Yeah, jumped off those big cliffs into water or whatever. Let's see if we make it, you see? Let's see if we make it through the scary movie. Well, some of your friends didn't. Maybe they're in the hospital. But, again, they'll figure it out. Or you'll help them figure it out. So, again, this is where you take the risk. There's no guarantees, but there is real guidance there. The guides see that. They see their intent, your intent, and especially when you're sincere to really see what's going on. You're going to get assistance. It's very subtle, but it's there.
So you mentioned that we could decide whatever we want. Can we essentially decide our death for it to be peaceful and painless? Can we decide that for ourselves?
Well, yeah, just like when you're in Las Vegas and you have the dice in your hand, you want number 7 or 11, right? You can decide that. Doesn't mean it's going to come up. Because you see, you're not there yet, and every moment is. And if you decide it, and if you decide that, like people commit suicide as an example, well, it's not. You can decide it and think, well, I just want to get out of here. I just want to, end it all right now. Well, okay, so now you got the idea how you're going to do that. Well, gee, if I jump off a building, that's really going to hurt. If I go underwater, that's going to hurt too. So whatever you look at, it's all going to be painful, isn't it? So again, but pain is part of the process. But then again, once you take the time to discover your real awareness, then you can supersede all that. You never have to have another body again to deal with the so-called idea of death. So you do have the choice, yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. So we can think it whatever we want, but until we learn to truly face ourselves and our effects and become more aware, we can't really decide that yet.
Well, again, it's you're the decider. So again, realistically, there is no one but you do see everybody else. And yes, there is others, but realistically, it's you making every decision. You always have. Now you're realizing it. You think that many times it's from somebody else. Well, when somebody else tells you to do something, you decided to agree. And that's okay. Sometimes you agree. If I want to drive a car, I got to agree to getting a license. Well, that's fine. I agree to it. Or I can drive without a license. I can do that too. A lot of the so-called illegal aliens, they do it and they get away with it. So why can't I? So again, there's different ways to look at it, but you are always the decider, you see. And so, yes, we have the free will to decide scary things. We all do. Yeah, but it's so simple when you just take the time to just, kind of take a few moments to be like the sun shining and then compare the difference with that and all those
That won't really
ideas.
matter anymore.
Yes, all those ideas that you've thought. So, where did these ideas go? Look at the sun, it's self sufficient, it's fine. But at the same time, from the personal point of view, I understand. It's like, well, gee, what is the sun doing? It seems really boring, because again, you have an active mind with all these particulars. Well, when you view what the sun is from what the sun is, okay, you'll see that it's not bored, that what it sees happening on the earth is really boring. That's why it has nothing to do with it. But you have to learn to see how it sees, as an example. And that takes a few minutes. Yeah, you have to sort out your personal self to where all these things that you're chasing in your mind, especially because it's activated by your mind and imagination. It's like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. I know it's like being a teenager and still young. You've got all this stuff popping around and all these appearances going on all day long. Yeah, the personal mind is jumping around constantly. And to focus and see through that, well, that takes a lot. And only you can decide that. Nobody's going to decide that for you. So this is where people misunderstand. They think they can just read something, or they go to religion thinking that they're going to get relief or salvation because they do confession or whatever, or they come to this thinking that, okay, what's the new presentation going to do for me? Again, I'm just creating references to show you how to do it for yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
This is just the personal self-thinking.
exactly. So I use comparisons always. I've set myself up to automatically compare because I see how the personal self is. If you don't have a comparison there, just like you used your boyfriend as an example, he comes up with the idea, well, I don't believe that. You see, it's a matter of fact, isn't it? There's no comparison. It's just that, no, I don't believe it. I don't want to hear anything else. You see? So again, so he's the effect of what he's decided. He's the effect of that idea. And he can stay that
Mm-hmm.
effect like that, of that one idea, and he can have a whole lot more, but that one idea can bring him back for another 100 lifetimes.
Wow.
Yeah, because he made the
That's
choice. He doesn't stop the cycle until he decides otherwise. So the cycle continues. Just like when you put your foot on the pedal of your car, you don't have to lift it up just because there's a stop sign ahead. You decide to lift it up and put on the brake, right?
mm-hmm.
Nobody else is deciding that.
Right. Thus, he gets emotions, frustrations, anger, whatever comes with it. It all,
Because he's
yeah.
locked himself into that idea, and there's a part of him that recognizes that no, another view that he's not yet seen that recognizes that no. So these things start to come up, these phobias, you might say, because of that. Again, you simply take the time. Life makes sense. This is what's so cool about it. The true reality life is, and it's evident, but you have to learn to see it. It makes sense, but you need references. That's why we're here, because we need comparisons. So you need a home base, which is the personal self you've created. That's your home base, okay? And that exemplifies it in what you call the dream state or your dream visions as a house. That's your house that you live in. That's the personal self that you've created, just like a house is a creation. A house is an idea. A building is an idea. You see, only a building has more levels to it, or a house usually only has one level. But if you have a two-story house on the real side and you go to the upstairs, that means you're going to the real side. You see, you're going above the personal self. But if you just stay downstairs, then you're just living basically with a personal self. And you will see this objectively on the real side with others, and you'll sometimes visit people you know, your relatives or friends in their houses, and you'll look around and their house will look funny because what it is, it's an example, it's exemplifying who they are, you see.
And we just happen to be there. Is that what it is?
Well, you have decided to go there as an experience, or you have a relationship there, or many times you're in your mother's house or your grandmother's house, or whatever the idea is. It just depends. The real you, that part that you don't really recognize, is going from position to position, and at times it lets the personal self know, but not all the time, because in your subconscious you have what is known as a sensor. Just like a bank has an alarm system, if anybody tries to break into the vault, you have like an alarm system, and it's called a sensor in psychology, to where you've developed this to where, you know, certain ideas do not come across unless they're investigated. Okay, they do not come across to the personal mind because it can affect them in certain ways, you see. So, yeah, there's a lot more to you than you realize, a whole lot more. And this becomes your journey. But again, for here in the physical, for something to relate to that's material, I see the sun as the best example of clearing so much out within ourselves. And when you're sincere to do that, and you use the new you and just do a little study, and so you better understand, well, the guides come into the real side and they start to clear out those tap lines for you, you see?
Right. So it's just about becoming aware and seeing it. It's not really about coming up with, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? Why is that person there or anything like that? It's just about seeing, and then gradually you will see more.
Yeah, that's the fun part. In other words, you're going to have questions. It's not that you don't. No, of course you do. And to sort things out, and you're going to want to know certain things. But for myself, I just use myself as an example, and that is first comes the awareness. When I talk to a person like such as yourself or whatever, I look at the awareness and what the individual is personally. That's their business. You know, that's what they've created. That's their life. It's like the house they live in or the car they drive, etc. You see? And so, but I look to the real awareness. What I'm speaking to is your real awareness, because that part understands where the personal self may not.
Right. It's all really so simple. You make it so simple, Duane. Thank you.
Okay, I would say that no, you're wonderful. Please come again and talk to Kelsey. Have fun with the kids. They're doing wonderful things and having a whole lot of fun with this. And they've got little projects and things to do. So just keep them busy. But yes, have fun with them and the Skypes. Yes, thank you for showing up, and we'll see you next time. We got to keep it going because this is what we do, right? Say hello to Miriam and let us know what's going on there. And after,
I've tried to get in contact with her.
well, just try Facebook and see what's going on there. So she's been there, so she has an account there. But yeah, you want to continually try to put things together. We're just creating things all the time here. I'm even creating a seniors group, etc., relating to everybody all the time. Just putting it out there and see who shows up, and little by little they are. I understand that this is not easy, okay? Not easy at all. It's kind of like trying to build a rocket ship to get to the sun. You know, it's not an easy thing, but yet we're making it available so that it is possible, so it's something, I say. So again, everybody can do something, and this is how they earn their way, because this is what we do now. You know, this is what life is now. It's not sitting around and listening to pretty words. We do the Skypes and etc., but it's doing something and taking part because, you know, there's a lot of people, everybody wants help, but they just don't even realize it themselves, so we make it available. So, okay, Mr. Charles, you're wonderful. We'll see you next time. Yes, you know, get some rest, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Charles. Bye, everybody. Have fun.